Hello there and a very warm welcome to the program. Once again, I am Victor Matthias. A bill for an act to prohibit and punish electronic fraud and crime in all electronic transactions in Nigeria has passed second reading in the Senate. The said bill, if passed, is proposing a severe punishment for internet fraudsters in Nigeria, as those convicted will face 7 years of imprisonment. The bill also seeks a 7-year jail term for social media critics found guilty of inciting the public against the government. It simply means an activist may be arrested and set to jail for 7 years if he or she turns the people against the federal government. The bill became public knowledge when the Joint Senate Committees on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Drugs and Narcotics and Financial Crimes, led by Senator Umaru Dahiru, organized a one-day public hearing on the bill in Abuja. The social cyberspace was filled with a lot of fury as social media enthusiasts took to their handles and debated the legality or otherwise of the bill while citing the Section 39 of the Nigerian 99 Constitution as amended. With me on the program to look at this issue is a social media enthusiast, Dada Olusegun. We will first be hearing from Nigerians joining the program from different parts of the world to make their views known on the contentious bill. But just before then, let's take a look at other trending topics in the social media world. OBJ. Premium Times published a letter written by former President Olusegun Obasanjo to President Goodluck Jonathan, accusing him of underperforming and taking actions calculated at destroying the country. Mandela. Mandela, as he was fondly called, finally answered the ultimate call after a protracted illness. Tributes poured from all corners of the world, and social media enthusiasts were not left out. Welcome back. Let's now move to our online studio to meet our local and international callers.
I think this is, of course, it's not a welcome idea at all. It's not a welcome idea. And then just reading through the information you have actually posted here for talking about the fine and the imprisonment and all of that. It's just not it. I mean, this is not what we should be talking about at this time. This is an encroachment on the freedom of expression of the citizen of the country. For crying out loud, this is not what we need at this time. There are salient issues that would impact positively on citizenry than we'll be talking about regulating the social media. And, you know, as Agola said, you need to get out of the country to really have a feel of what it feels to be able to express yourself. Do you understand? And, you know, it's just so unfortunate. And as I said earlier, it's not a case of, you know, it's just a reflection. This is just a reflection of the leadership that we have, even in the legislative arm of the government. You understand? This just shows an expressing security on their own part as well. And, you know, as we said earlier, a precedent would be the Occupy Nigeria movement, which was actually driven by social media. And recently, you talk about, if you read about Oshiomhole apologies and all of that, whatever act he did was actually committed some times back. And when that came to social media, people actually pressured him. He apologized for his wrongdoing and, you know, compensated the widow that he actually had to go and die and things like that. If there was no activism, you know, on social media to drive that action, he would not have done that. You understand? So it's understandable if we want to look at the part of, you know, the part of our culture, talking about respect and all of that. But the truth actually is that we have actually constrained ourselves based on this issue of respect. People have been cowered in just because we would tag them disrespectful if they express themselves. You understand? So as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I can see, this is not what we should be talking about now, because this is going to be taking us, you know, just backward. And that is my submission on this issue.
Yeah, exactly as you just you rightly put it, obnoxious and controversial bill. It is indeed what it is. You know, my country, Nigeria, we try to project some kind of image which we are not there at, and we spend a lot of energy fighting intangible things. You begin to ask yourself, what is it that actually bothers the people? Aren't they the same issues that the people are actually complaining about every time? We see what is happening in America, where, for example, the Obamacare law is being hijacked by the opposition or his people who are antagonizing this law, and they actually spread a lot of rumors. They even cajole Nigeria as a nation, using some of the Yahoo enterprise of the people, that they should hire some of them to actually help them to build their website. And people are actually making a meal out of this whole Obamacare system. And people have the freedom to be able to express themselves. Now, without the freedom of expressing how you feel against the government, where would there be the checks and the balance? How would the people in power know that the people actually who they are supposed to govern are actually either satisfied or not satisfied? So let everybody keep mute, and let us go back to the days of the Abacha era, when there was the killer squad, as we have now come to realize that if you actually gather more than 3 able-bodied men gather in one particular place, it means that you are actually planning something against the government, and you either end up in some nearby military cantonment with some whip in your body. So this is actually a democratic form of the thing that we experienced in the military regime under Abacha regime, which for me I think does not augur well for our baby democracy. Because if we have to nurture this democratic culture, we really have to think about the possibility for people to say what they are for and what they are against, without thinking or the fear that they would be lynched or persecuted or be killed. Freedom of expression should hold paramount in a democratic culture.
If what I've been reading in the papers, if it's anything to go by, I really think what the National Assembly is trying to do is they are trying to pass a law that can make the media not to actually report their looting and embezzlement of the wealth and destinies of Nigerians. I think we should actually stand up for this and say no. If you need to pass a law for the media to regulate the media, you don't just put such kind of bogus rules and say, oh, if you do this, then you put in here's sum of money saying if you do this, then this is what you need to pay. This is what you need to do. What you're doing is you're making the reporters, even if they have genuine stories to tell, you're actually making them not to be able to speak their mind. You're depriving them for freedom of expression, where in this modern world, people are actually entitled to say what they want to say. For me, I think actually the problems that Nigerians have is not actually about the media. The National Assembly themselves, I think before they think of regulating the laws of the media, they should regulate the law that governs them as well.
Such bills are very laughable because here's a country that politicians that steals money are sent to jail for like 6 months, and we are talking about 7 years for someone that is supposedly says something that could lie to the government. That is very laughable. There are other pressing laws that need to be passed, laws that will affect the lives of people, not such trivial laws like this. The government need to put their house together and solve and bring out laws that will benefit the common man, not laws that they will use to witch hunt the critics and those that says things against the government. No right-thinking government of a civilized country would go after such laws like this. These are laws that tend to impede on the human rights of the citizens.
So I think it's better. The social media is a way to sensitize. It's a way that it's something that can inspire revolution. I think they are just scared. It's like somebody who has beauty hands being scared. That's just what I will say. So uh, I hope things get better. Like I'm an enthusiast. I'm hopeful. But every day the news I read, the things I hear are not encouraging about Nigeria and Nigerians both home and abroad. I'm trying my best to be a good Nigerian, but the social media is just a way of impacting ourselves and individually, societally. I mean, if that goes away, then I think we will be back to the military time,
I don't see a reason why they will be imposing a 7-year jail term to someone who is trying to, I mean, say what is happening in our country, or say his mind as a free citizen of Nigeria. Maybe to me, to my own understanding, they are just being scared. They are just being scared that the masses may tell them the truth, or just say, or maybe bring out what they have been hiding, or what they have been hiding from us. Look, just take a look at us. The youth, they will finish their education, their parents will suffer and treat them from nursery to tertiary level. After completing their youth service, they won't have nothing to show for it. A graduate will be a driver, driving a local taxi. He can't even boast of a 3 square meal a day, and he will call himself a graduate. A graduate will finish a university, he can't be guaranteed of a job, and he will call himself a graduate. Well, I mean, it's not something to be happy for. There are, I mean, many laws to be passed. There are many good things to talk of. Not imposing a 7-year jail term to an ordinary Nigerian who is, I mean, trying to say his mind on social network. It's not something to call for. To me, I think they are just being scared of the masses bringing out the dirty tricks, the dirty things that they have been doing secretly.
What I believe is that I want to think that the government has a lot of secrecy that they're trying to keep away from the people, and because of what has been happening, in terms of media social revolution, a lot of people are worried, about the revolution that is going to come out as a result of information. A typical example of this is what happened in Edo State when the governor Adams Oshomole called the widow, asking the widow to go and die. It generated a lot of controversy, and it was all over the media, and that forced the governor to come out and apologize. I also see a similar situation also coming in terms of federal governance and a lot of things. So I think that it gives them, it puts them in a very difficult situation, and they are very worried, looking at it that election is coming up very soon in 2015. A situation is the campaign of some of the PDP governors, and if you look at what is in the embryo as it is, they are trying to make sure that they vacate their position, because they have cross-carpeted from one party to the other, which is an anomaly as it is. The basic thing is that they are afraid of their corruptions. We are going to expose them. All the houses they are buying in South Africa and everywhere, we know where they are. We are going to expose them. This is just the beginning of the media war. Thank you very much.
If we say that we have a democracy, we have to get rid of that militocratic activities which are going on in the government today. Yes, it is the Senate that is pushing it, but we know where the drum or the music is being played from. So the people who are dancing to it now are just listening to the music from somewhere.
It just brings to mind what is happening in the Middle East, in some Arab countries, where the people, like we had in, I've forgotten which country, where there was protest and people were censored, sent to prison because of what they said online. I think it shows the level at which our government wants to repress the right of the people to free speech. One of the basic things that democracy brings to us is the right to express our opinions. No matter how bad it seems, I have the right to say what I feel. That is the essence of democracy. They've taken away a lot of rights from us. Our people don't have electricity, internet service is poor, various things are bad in Nigeria. Why would you want to take away from the youth one avenue we have to actually express our opinions about the events happening in our country? It doesn't make sense in any way for there to be any form of censorship over what people say online. So far it is not libelous, so far it is not against the law. Any form of law that seeks to repress what the people say online, before we know it, then they will move to mainstream media, just like we had in the military days. If we allow them to censor what we say over the social media, then they are definitely going to move to censoring what our media, the mainstream media, what they say to us on the news and various things. So I believe Nigerians should stand up against this law. We must not allow this to stand. Thank you very much.
Wow. That is a clear indication that Nigerians, both home and abroad, won't accept any bill that will alter their freedom to express themselves.